Welcome back, everyone, to another reaction to Halo. I'm Nicholas, joined again by my buddy Mike.
Hey.
A pretty interesting series so far. Some lovers, some haters. Who cares about any of that? I'm enjoying it so far. It's pretty straightforward. It's not like the best series in the world, but it's pretty good. Good little action sci-fi series. The pacing's all right. A lot of people worry about Quan being a distraction from Master Chief, but I think, like you said in the last episode, it's like it'd be pretty boring if it was just following him and there was no secondary characters, you know, that help build the story or anything like that. It'd be kind of weird. But apparently she has some kind of link to the past and some portal, or, you know, I don't know. They're just planting more seeds. Who knows what's coming? Would like to see what's going on with Chief and the Halo. I mean, it is called Halo after all. But see what goes on there. I want to see some more grunts getting their heads blown off. I don't know. Be pretty funny. What are you thinking so far, Mike?
It's pretty good. I think maybe I'm watching too many shows at once or something where I just get bored with TV. But
yeah,
it's been pretty good. Hope it will probably pick up on the pace and the action in the last two episodes here.
Right.
We've kind of got more of a setup in terms of everyone's after the same thing and sort of converging, it seems like.
Right. Yeah, that's fair enough. We're past the mid-season lulls, you know, not LOLs, but lows. But yeah, like even we just finished Moon Knight. It seemed to have a mid-season low. Picard season 2 had kind of this slower, you know, plot development, character development part in the middle. Yeah, so the ends always pick up. So yeah, I guess we'll get into it here. Here is episode 8, Allegiance, Halo. 3, 2, 1, play.
I can show you, John.
Boom, boom, boom.
Take me to the Keystone.
Yeah, this is clearly going back to the main plot line. Master Cheeks, as somebody commented. He's not an artist. Circle's pretty not circular, but that's okay. And she's framed up in a circle, that's fine.
Isn't it the people that are playing Halo that are chiefing?
I saw you. I saw you. I wonder if this connection will be her way back to humanity, you know.
Don't be afraid.
You take her to see the artifact, so I guess so.
They're gonna go to Halo, I think, somehow.
Or yeah, were they getting into like a dogging bay to go? Yeah, they'll definitely have to end up there for sure. But I wonder if this whole credit scene is like foreshadowing itself. It's like almost looks like nanotech.
There he gets dusted.
Yeah, he gets dusted. All of a sudden you hear thunder and the snap happens. Oh, Stark Tower, no.
That's right. All his systems are back to normal.
Look at you, so cheerful.
Chief's health is important to me.
That guy's Scottish too. Does he know William Wallace from the other planet?
Right.
Space is very segregated by nationality.
Magnolia trees and some green grass to walk on.
That's right, she read that line.
But she hasn't had any human contact her whole life.
Right.
The 117 I knew would have torn her apart one limb at a time until he got the answers he required.
He's Master Cheeks now.
He's always on mission.
He just might have his own mission.
On the
It
ring.
always happens with super soldiers. You just can't control them.
How about that?
I don't know, I just...
Do they not watch Marvel? I mean, it's got to be in their archive.
Let go. What is it, McKee?
There's a prophecy, propelling all those who are worthy on a great journey to the sacred ring.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good, y'all.
Cleansed.
Cleansed. Yeah.
From what I saw, humans didn't seem to be worthy of anything.
I saw a capacity for hope.
Individuals are and can be good.
There is
It's
something
when
within
they
us.
group and get overtaken by their
Something
memes
special
is when
in
shit
humans.
hits the fan.
Sacred. Something worth protecting.
These are all like evolutionary stories in a way. Like how the group idea overrides the individual humanity of somebody. and uses the individual for the purposes of the group ideal.
An hour ago, 11 million people were living here, including my family.
Cut it!
Emergency medical technicians are...
Task 7th Fleet to Criterion.
Admiral, you know I cannot do that. The code protocol applies here.
We can't just
There doesn't
sit
seem
here
to be a
and
clear
wait for them to find
chain
us.
of command
The
here.
Admiral's right.
Chief, people don't just manually override decades of indoctrination.
Well, you had to take your.
Yeah, but yours was artificially induced, right?
People have just...
You guys got anything heavy?
Is it a different species?
Thank you.
Yeah, be careful. She's firmly indoctrinated into the Covenant way. Like, she was a kid and only knew kid things as a human. Hey now. Hey, Cheek gonna get him some? Master Cheeks, here he comes.
Where's his helmet? Put the helmet back on. It's like, I've never done this.
It was the first time for everything. And by the way, well, Cortana, Miss Voyeur over here.
It's like, oh no.
Wait a minute, and they are in her room, which is being monitored. So everybody just watched Chief bang Ring Lady. Gonna poke her little blade in his ear or something? No.
It wants us to focus on that finger, doesn't it?
Yeah. And why wouldn't their scans like pick up some kind of technology in her or something that allows her to do that? Maybe they morphed her DNA. I don't know how they explain that. Oh, well, I don't want to see this, but she's taking it out.
Fingernail or something.
I don't want to see this. It's gross. That scene in The Next Generation where Data pulls back his fucking nail and like does a little program.
God, yeah.
I know, exactly. This is like, I don't want to see this. Oh my God, it's gross. Talk about a hangnail. Oh fuck. That was more gruesome than anything that's happened yet. Aren't they going to ask like why is your finger wrapped up? No.
Same way he took his control chip.
Right.
out.
There's some. Yeah. They are both blessed ones. They are both having a similar path of being controlled.
John is no longer alone in the galaxy.
Pedo.
What else are you willing to sacrifice?
Everything.
It's really about power. She wants.
Oh, dear daughter.
Oh, she's a snitch. Look out.
Yeah.
She just snitched on the chief.
I think things like that will open up Cortana's AI mind to be like, well,
You have a connection with John that I will never have.
just ask him about when he was kidnapped as
It's
a
been
kid by me.
wonderful to watch. I'm so glad that you found each other.
Then we tap into the intelligence of the Halo, and we unleash our full and true potential as a species. It is too dangerous to leave the
How do I make it stop?
We keep.
I mean, that's the same thing that the UN,
Right.
that the government's going to do with it.
Of the human brain's myriad design flaws, the hardest to overcome is attachment.
Well, you're too smart to not understand the human brain wasn't designed. So that sentence, design flaws,
Or reason for
is
the
flawed.
sake of pride or fear. I am therefore invoking Z protocol, effective immediately.
Yeah, everybody else is military. She's civilian, as far as that goes.
But they answer to her.
Yeah, well, she's got some kind of programming.
On my command, bring John, the prisoner, and the artifact to my ship, and we will
Bam.
use them together.
Cortana hasn't said much. She's definitely thinking about some shit.
Riz, Vanek, listen carefully.
This is John we're talking about. There's no way.
Yeah, she's talking to the other two.
There's so much you don't know about Halsey. We need to fight.
You will be the best of all of us.
She's gonna go rogue. Yeah, I can see season 2 being John and Cortana on the run. Remember how they had the scene about her being strong? That means she's going to bust out of that.
Right, that was the whole point of that scene, I guess.
Yeah, it's foreshadowing, absolutely. Oh, she's realizing it's her voice.
Halsey's or her?
No,
Oh my God, it's her.
Mackie. She's been analyzing the when the one ship was taken over.
I know you don't want to talk to me, but it's important.
Go away.
There's Cortana trying to warn him.
Listen to me.
Just tell him, Cortana. Quit asking him to listen.
Halsey initiated the Zed protocol. John, you're walking into a trap.
Agent! I've lost everything.
It's Cortana.
Cortana!
Exactly.
I've lost Halsey. Don't do this!
Ooh, he'd be tough to. It's not just armor; it's an exoskeleton.
Not another word.
Uh-oh.
Accessing Warthog. Slide right.
That would be such a hard fight because again, those are not just armor.
Oh.
Oh my God! How is he unconscious?
Where's his girlfriend? Or his
Right.
other girlfriend?
Right.
More shots to disable Vanek's shields.
Come on, cheeks. Oh.
Thank you.
I don't know. John sent me to find you. He needs your help. It was her voice on the recording from Gladius. I had no choice.
Oop.
So
Oop.
it's true.
Amalia.
I'm sorry. No.
Timing is everything.
Talk to John. He knows who I really am.
She's got some. She's around the artifact and she's got some powers here.
Exactly. Damn!
Yeah, yep. Sound him right there.
Gonna end the same way the last two episodes again. Crazy.
He's there on his own.
Yeah, yeah. He's not at the ring. I think that's just their connection again.
Oh, I see. That wasn't on the Halo ring.
It showed them both on the ring, but that was just like the other episode when he touched it and she didn't. It brought them both to a like it's in their mind. It's like they're connected. But that last shot was him hitting the ground, in the right there where he was fighting. The very very last shot.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think you're right. The action's going to pick up.
Okay, he just goes there for a second.
Right,
it's
right.
Like a glimpse.
Yeah. He's having a little hallucination or whatever. It's there. But yeah, this is I guess the next episode will probably end to where I thought this one would, and we'd get a little farther in the next. But it looks like the season's going to end with the three different idea bases going their own way. The UNSC and what they got to do. John, Cortana, and McKee doing what they're doing, and then Halsey's trying to, using the Spartans to try to get him. Three distinct motivational, things going on there. Yeah.
Quan and Soren will probably show up.
And Quan is the fourth. That's right. So
she's got some kind of
that portal
power.
That portal
right.
might come in right here at the end of the season. About like maybe she'll show up and rescue Chief or something. I don't know. Yeah, or you get Chief and Mackie to the Halo ring using the portal. Yeah, exactly. So it's interesting. Plot thickens. I'm enjoying it.
That was a pretty good episode.
It was
a little more. I don't know. It's a little more in depth or something.
Mm-hmm. And the pacing was good. Like you said, it's already over. Yeah, that's how you can tell like it's flowing good because you're not thinking about how much time's left or whatever. Yeah. I think those other episodes are probably necessary to get the the character development. So something like what happens in this one pays off better. Because I didn't put it into words until the other day. I think a lot of these like newer television making, TV, whether it's streaming or not, or on TV or not, is missing. Okay, so like it's a win. It's like it's a weird balance between, you know, older shows that aired on TV, you know, might have had 24 episodes, and
right.
by today's standards, we might, you know, label half of them as like these filler episodes. And so that's one advantage about like television production today is like the stories are tighter and you're flowing. But to flip that on its head, kind of the downside of that though is that all the stories tend to be these, you know, Avengers level threat, earth shattering, you know, and so they've gone to the extreme in the opposite direction where now you don't have nearly as much character development because they got to tell this world-ending story in 8 episodes. And so in a way, those filler episodes might have been boring in terms of the overall plot of what's happening in the show, but that gave you the groundwork about those characters. So when the big things happened at the end of the season, you cared more. You were sucked in more because you spent a day with Data, you know, doing nothing but his daily routine. Data's day, you know. But you don't get those episodes anymore. They have to always integrate the character or some way it's directly tied in with the earth-shattering plot that's going on. And I think that makes it feel a little more artificial because, to me, you know,
forced kind of.
Yeah, it's forced a little more. So it's like it's a win-win, win-lose scenario, or whatever. You know, it's a balance between, you know, maybe seasons need to be 15 episodes and have a little bit more of the character development.
You know, it used to be more episodic because if you missed a week, it was just on TV, and if you missed a week, you weren't going to get to see it. So for at least till it was in reruns or something. So therefore you could just watch the next week and it didn't really matter.
Right.
But now it's like everything's streaming and they're basically 8-hour movies now.
Right.
And the risk of that is sometimes you have too much time to tell your story, and you know, it doesn't have to be, character development doesn't always have to be complex. It just has to be consistent. And, you know,
I think you got to put in the time. Sorry.
We all know that it's very obvious that the central conflict of this show is people deciding whether to defy their overlords. You know,
their dictates.
It's like it's about authoritarianism and deciding to buck the trend there. And so we got that in the first episode, is what I mean. Like the setup was there,
right?
And then we've had more world building stuff, which is cool. But like I said, it might just be watching too many shows. But yeah, we finally feel like we know who Chief is.
Right.
It would have been really boring if he was just some drone that just did whatever Halsey said. I don't know why anybody would want to watch that. That would be boring. but unless they made him a bad guy and had someone else defy, you know. But yeah, if you don't have some kind of internal conflict, it's not going to be much of a show.
Yeah.
Right.
You're right.
I mean, it might have been cool just to have like cut scenes from the game, like, you know, just like battle scenes, but like in a movie or something.
That only goes so far. It's like then you watch so much action and you're like, what? I mean, this is cool, but what's the story?
Right. Yeah, like the first episode, it was just like, well, they showed up and then they're fighting them, which is cool. You needed that to establish, you know,
absolutely necessary.
Pay service to the games. But yeah, but it's been cool. And then there's the risk of like, well, if they get this power, then what do they do for the second season? You know, stuff like that. Right.
See, I've been catching up on Discovery the last couple of weeks. I watched season 1. You know, I was pretty indifferent about it. necessarily love it, but I didn't hate it either. It was just, it was just what it was. But I think now watching 2 seasons of Picard and just talking about Star Trek for a second, and I'm caught up in Discovery now. I've watched through the 4th season, and that seemed, at least about Star Trek, and I can see that a little bit in Halo and other things. It's like, right, you get these, which are cool overall season arc stories, and I'm glad they're doing such things, but because they're compacted in, 10 episodes or something like that, I think Discovery's 12 episodes or whatever, it really does feel like a lot of the human connections and relationships are forced because there hasn't been physically enough time. Like, it doesn't matter how good your
dialogue
script
is just not as good.
It's not as good. And there are moments it is good, but it's just like you can't, it doesn't matter. Like for every physical minute you cut, like developing a character and you try to cram that into like dialogue, your dialogue has to be like 4 times as good. And you get to a point to where you cannot write something that overdoes spending physical on-screen moments with characters together to build that relationship. It doesn't matter how good your dialogue is. You get to a point where you cannot do that. And a lot of it, once again, I'm liking the plots in Discovery, but a lot of the relationships feel forced. And that last season, there was a couple weirdly timed moments to have a deep conversation. It's like you're right in the middle of like everything that's like going to shit and blowing up, and you step aside and start talking for a minute and a half about your feelings. It's like, you need that, but is this the right time for that? I don't know.
I think the reason I also was going to go back and watch Discovery. We got into the 2nd season, and I don't know how many times I've watched the first couple episodes of the 2nd season, and I keep giving up because it felt like all this very forced mystery boxes, like watching Lost or something, where it's like, what's this MacGuffin? What's this, oh, Spock. Okay, Spock's on the other fucking ship. So what? Move on. Like, now what? Like,
season 2 does drag on a little bit at the beginning, but it's an interesting overall story. With the Red Angel or whatever, it ended up pretty good. It
just felt like J.J. Abrams crap. It just felt like Anyway,
we don't have to go off too much about Star Trek.
But there was definitely things I liked about the first season. Also, I guess it feels like it's like every character is sarcastic and flippant and sort of childish all the time. Like I'm watching a CW show or something, and they've all got secrets from each other, like a soap opera.
Opera drama.
I'm going to give it another try, but
Right. Well, if you know exactly what's happening in the first couple episodes, maybe just start at 3 or 4 and move right on. Don't watch them again.
Well, I even thought about just skipping the rest of the 2nd season because I don't know how much of it I actually watched. I've probably seen a lot of it.
I wouldn't do that because the seasons build off of the previous season at this point on. Like they clearly all do.
That's what I mean. It's like 12 episodes to spin some story that I could probably watch the previously on at the beginning of season 3, and it's probably not that complicated. It's just they stretch it out,
I mean, one could just watch the previously on of each episode and not watch the episodes, and get the gist of the plot. But
you're probably right. If I pick up a third of the way through the 2nd season or something, maybe I'll.
Yeah, depending on how much you've already watched, absolutely. Anyway, back to Halo. I guess we'll wrap up some Halo. I'm enjoying this. Those were all just like analogies of modern TV making. It's
sometimes I think they should just do films. Just do like one good film that's 2 hours long instead of a 8-hour show that sometimes it just depends.
Right. And
everybody's trying
these
to be
newer
Game
shows,
of Thrones.
these new shows deal with more characters. They're trying to be in Tarantino. It's like you're not that good. You can't deal with these many characters at once. Like you got to calm it down. Like have an episode where there's like no more than 28 lines of dialogue and see how you do. like just tell a story and make us like connect to it without having to, you know, cram sentences down our throats or whatever.
Yeah, they're trying to be Game of Thrones, but they don't have the depth of the world that he built in those novels. Like, if Game of Thrones had just been a TV show and not the novels, it probably would have been all just as bad as that last season. Like, you know, if there hadn't been the depth behind it, you can't just force that. You know, you have to take the time to write it. Somebody does.
Right. There you go. Yeah, well, cool, man. Appreciate it. I'm enjoying this. I guess let me double check here real quick. I'm pretty sure there's just one more episode left.
One more is what I looked up this morning.
Transcendence is the last episode. But yeah, this is pretty good. It's picking up. They're going to clearly leave us on a season cliffhanger or something.
Finally feel like I have some emotional stake in the chief and the other Spartan there, and
Kai. And Mackie too. You know, she's gone through a lot of change. And I didn't put it into words until this episode, but Chief and Mackie do share this similar thread about being tools for their for a greater cause or whatever.
They were both kidnapped.
They were both kidnapped. They were both, absolutely. So, you know, they have a lot to share there. And Cortana, I can see Cortana, like, she's, you know, extremely important in the games. Like, you're around her so much that you don't think of her as an AI. She definitely has her own personality and traits and all this. And I can see more of that coming out. I see her being a much bigger part of the next season when they're off on their own, obviously. And Halsey is almost too tropey for me. She's just like, can a human really be like this? It's like
in the show.
Yeah, Halsey, the Dr. Halsey. She's just so. I guess someone could be like that, but
ruthless.
Yeah. It's tropey in that, you know, kind of religious sense that knowledge is evil and you shouldn't, you know, take a fruit off the apple off the tree of knowledge because the snake will bite you. Like,
well, she always thinks she knows better and that she can always fix everything.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's like storytelling doesn't. I mean, it's not to say that there aren't some super smart people out there that are just twisted or whatever, because that can happen. But generally speaking, the more you know about something, the more humbled you are because the more you realize you don't know about something. Like, it's the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's like no storytelling acknowledges this. It usually is the dumb people that are overconfident, not the people with knowledge. And so it's a trope in all storytelling about the smart scientist, you know, is the mad scientist and they're going to do evil. Like, yeah, you can only do so much with limited knowledge and you do need more knowledge to accomplish more. But I don't know, it's just so tropey to me. It's hard for me to connect to any character like that.
And like in Moon Knight, you've got these gods that are apparently very powerful, but haven't even taken moral philosophy 101.
Right.
they can't like understand the complexity of anything. They're just, you know.
Yeah, I mean, one of the best movies, like superhero movies that I love is Infinity War. But if you break it down too much, like Thanos is just not a good character at all. He's a fucking idiot. He literally is the freshman that shows up and hears one lecture and thinks he knows everything. Like,
I mean, especially when you've got space age technology like he does, that surely they could figure out a way to feed everybody on Titan. Like, so they killed half the people on Titan and therefore they suddenly had the resources to conquer the galaxy. So maybe resources weren't the problem.
Of course, absolutely.
And then what do? You just don't reproduce anymore? Plus, who builds all the ships and designs all the stuff that
you don't ask too many questions, man. You're getting into too many actual details there. And this goes, well, we'll wrap this up, but this goes to like what me and you had talked about before about how, like, I've always wanted to, I don't think I'm a writer or anything, so I'll never do this, but I would love to see something that takes in modern understanding of something and puts that into storytelling. But the more I think about it, the more like, that might not be possible, right? Because by having the knowledge about more stuff, the more you can't, you have to cut corners somewhere in storytelling. Like there's no way to tell. Like I'll watch these, reactions by different people who are all in different fields, and it's not a coincidence that they disconnect from X, Y, or Z, or whatever they're watching when that story tells something about their knowledge base and doesn't do it correctly, right? Mm-hmm. So therefore, all storytelling is not doing it correctly in the sense, because it's not, the point of storytelling isn't to do something correctly, it's to set up something artificial so you can make a point, so you can get across a message or whatever. So
it's like all these crime shows since Breaking Bad and everything, and including Breaking Bad, these crime shows, Ozark and stuff like that. It's like they're fun and they're well done, but it's a delicate balance to suspend your disbelief, because you have to accept things that are just not real. Does the FBI have informants that are criminals? I'm sure they do. Is the FBI going to allow you to murder people for information? No.
Right.
Like how is this guy still alive? How is this guy not in prison? It's like,
yep.
Or in Breaking Bad, it's like no one can kill him because he makes the best meth. It's like, well, you can sell shittier meth and still make money, so he would have been dead a long time ago.
Exactly. Anyway,
or learn to make it yourself.
Oh, right. I mean, blow up your own trailer. Awesome, Mike. I appreciate it. This is fun. It spurred some good conversation. So yeah, I guess that was it for the penultimate episode. Next week is the finale of season 1. So awesome. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining me. Thank you all for joining me. Like the video if you did. Subscribe. Come back for more if you're not already subscribed. If you're interested in full-length reactions to this and anything else that we've done, you can check out the link to Patreon down in the description below. Otherwise, Mike, thanks again, and we'll catch everybody on the next one. Peace.